Hello and welcome everyone to episode 6 of book reading The Four Agreements. In last episode, we got to know about the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your words. We read that how, regardless of what language we speak, how our intent manifests through our words, and how the word we express has a creative power. We also read that how these words act as seeds and can grow on a fertile ground of human mind. At the end, we learned that how our parents, siblings, environment around us gave their opinions about us even without thinking during our domestication process, and how these opinions turned into fear, and how these fears turned into agreement, and how we have been under this spell for so many years, even without realizing it. Let's dive today into understanding the meaning of word impeccability. Author says, now let us see what the word impeccability means. Impeccability means without sin. Impeccable comes from the Latin peccatus, which means sin. The im in impeccable means without. So impeccable means without sin. Religions talk about sin and sinner, but let's understand what it really means to sin. A sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is a sin. You go against yourself when you judge or blame yourself for anything. Being without sin is exactly the opposite. Being impeccable is not going against yourself. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself. From this point of view, the whole concept of sin changes from something moral or religious to something common sense. Sin begins with rejection of self. Self rejection is the biggest sin that you commit. In religious terms, self rejection is a mortal sin which leads to death. But impeccability, on the other hand, leads to life. Being impeccable with your word is not using the word against yourself. If I see you in the street and I call you stupid, it appears that I am using the word against you. But in reality, I am using my word against myself. Because you are going to hate me for this, and your hating me is not good for me. Therefore, if I get angry and with my words send all that emotional poison to you, I am using the word against myself. If I love myself, I will express that love in my interactions with you. And then I am being impeccable with the word because that action will produce a like reaction. If I love you, then you will love me. If I insult you, you will insult me. If I have gratitude for you, you will have gratitude for me. Being impeccable with your word is the correct use of your energy. It means to use your energy in the direction of truth and love for yourself. If you make an agreement with yourself to be impeccable with your word, just with that intention, the truth will manifest through you and clean all the emotional poison that exists within you. But making this agreement is difficult because we have learned to do precisely the opposite. We have learned to lie as a habit of our communication with others, and more importantly with ourselves. We are not impeccable with our words. If you remember from previous episodes, the writer said that the hell is all around us because the way we are living in a dream unconsciously without awareness. And now he describes how this power of word is misused in this hell. He says, the power of the word is completely misused in hell. We use the word to curse, to blame, to find guilt, to destroy. Of course, we also use it in the right way, but not too often. Mostly, we use the word to spread our personal poison, to express anger, jealousy, envy, and hate. The word is pure magic, the most powerful gift we have as humans, and we use it against ourselves. We plan revenge, we create chaos in the world with the word. We use the word to create hate between different races, different people, families, and nations. Misuse of the word is how we pull each other down and keep each other in a state of fear and doubt. Because the word is the magic that humans possess. And misuse of the word is black magic. We are using black magic all the time without knowing that our word is magic at all. Next, he tells us a beautiful story about a woman and her daughter. Without telling you what it is about, let's dive into that story. There was a woman who was intelligent and had a very good heart. She had a daughter whom she adored and loved very much. One night, she came home from a very bad day at work. Tired, full of emotional tension, and with terrible headache she was. She wanted peace and quiet. But her daughter was singing and jumping happily. The daughter was unaware of how her mother was feeling. She was in her own world, in her own dream. She felt so wonderful, and she was jumping and singing louder and louder, expressing her joy and her love. She was singing so loud that it made her mother's headache even worse, and at a certain moment, the mother lost control. Angrily, she looked at her beautiful little girl and said, "Shut up! You have an ugly voice. Can you just shut up?" The truth is that the mother's tolerance for any noise was non existent at that time. It was not that the girl's voice was ugly, but the daughter believed what her mother said, and in that moment, she made an agreement with herself. After that, she no longer sang because she believed her voice was ugly and would bother anyone who heard it. She became shy at school, and if she was asked to sing, she refused. Even speaking to others became difficult for her. Everything changed in the little girl because of this new agreement. She believed she must repress her emotions in order to be accepted and loved. Whenever we hear an opinion and believe it, we make an agreement and it becomes part of our belief system. This little girl grew up, and even though she had a beautiful voice, she never sang again. She developed a whole complex from one spell. This spell was cast upon her by the one who loved her the most, her own mother. Her mother didn't notice what she did with her word. She didn't notice that she used black magic and put a spell on her daughter. She didn't know the power of a word, and therefore she isn't to blame. She did what her own mother, father, and others had done to her in many ways. They misused the word. Now he says, how many times do we do this with our own children? We give them these types of opinions, and our children carry that black magic for years and years. People who love us do black magic on us, but they don't know what they do. That is why we must forgive them. They didn't know what they did. He gives another example. You awake in the morning feeling very happy. You feel so wonderful. You stay 1 or 2 hours in front of mirror, making yourself beautiful. Well, one of your best friends says, "What has happened to you? You look so ugly. Look at the dress you are wearing. You look ridiculous." That's it. That is enough to put you all the way down in hell. Maybe this girlfriend told you this to just hurt you. She gave you an opinion with all the power of her word behind it. If you accept the opinion, it becomes an agreement now. And you put all your power into that opinion. That opinion becomes black magic. These types of spells are difficult to break. The only thing that can break a spell is to make a new agreement based on truth. And the truth is the most important part of being impeccable with your word. On one side of the sword are the lies which create black magic, and on the other side of the sword is the truth which has the power to break the spell of black magic. Only the truth will set us free. The author gives a break in this chapter here, and further he explains about the worst form of black magic, which is gossip. Let's let the story of today sink in our hearts and minds. Until next time, love and light.